Տեսփան հարցը առաջին հարցը վերաբերում է Հայաստանում տեղի ունեցող այն կարևոր գործընթացին, որը վերաբերում է դատաիրավական համակարգում բարեփոխումներին։ Այս գործընթացում Հայաստանի իշխանությունները ակնկալում են նաև Եվրամիության աջակցությունը եւ Հայաստանի իշխանությունը հայտարարում է այն մասին, որ այս բարեփոխումների նպատակն է ստեղծել անկախ, իսկապես անկախ դատական համակարգ։ Այն գործողությունները, որ տեղի են ունենում Հայաստանում այդ ոլորտում, դատաիրավական ոլորտում, ինչպես է դուք գնահատում, ինչպես է Եվրամիությունը գնահատում։
The European Union has expressed very strong support to the reform efforts of Armenia in the field of judiciary. This strong support has been communicated to our Armenian partners at different levels, starting at the very highest level. You will all recall the visit of President Tusk to Armenia. You remember what he said at the press conference, which I believe also reflected the conversation that President Tusk had with your highest officials, the Prime Minister and the President. The European Union is determined to support the efforts of the Armenian side to reform judiciary, to build an independent, truly independent, clean and effective judiciary. We are ready to provide political support, technical support, and also financial support. I would like to use this opportunity to clarify some of the publications. I will not name now the news outlet, not to give it too much publicity, but some of the facts were unfortunately distorted. The European Union is ready to provide a very sizable financial support to the reforms in the field of judiciary. This was discussed several days ago during a very important mission from Brussels. We had here colleagues from different branches of the Commission and also the External Action Service, and they discussed the issues with various interlocutors, not only in the government but also the Supreme Judicial Council and other partners. These discussions are very constructive, and our support is, I believe, very, very important in financial terms. We are talking about two batches, two tranches of support. The immediate support, available already from this autumn, to support the immediate plans of the government in the field of judiciary. And we are also talking about a multi-million support extending into the future, next several years, 3-4 years, in the framework of budget support envelope. And I should stress with satisfaction that our discussions with the government, the Minister in Justice in particular, have been very productive, very constructive, and we are looking forward to the concrete plans that the government is now discussing and outlining, and we will be there to help. We will be there to support. As declared many times, the European Union doesn't impose any model of reform. And indeed, in Europe, there is no single model of well-functioning judiciary. There are different models, and there are still problems, even among the family of the European Union member countries, as you are very well aware of. So the European Union is not trying to impose anything, but the European Union is ready to provide technical support. We are ready to mobilize experts who would share with the Armenian side the experience of other reform efforts. If Armenia is interested in a particular country where deep reforms in the judiciary were conducted, we are ready to mobilize experts who would come to Armenia and say what was good, what was not so good, so that Armenia should not repeat the mistakes of other countries, so that Armenia could learn from the good experience of other countries. And we are ready to, as I said, organize the technical support in any field that the Armenian partners would feel necessary. But as I said, the shape of the reform process should be decided in a sovereign way by the Armenian authorities. What we stress in our conversation is that this vision of reforms should be comprehensive, should be done or drafted in a systemic way, and it should be discussed very widely, not only with the political spectrum of Armenia, but also civil society and experts. We are aware that such discussions are taking place, and in particular the civil society have been invited for a number of meetings to discuss this concept of reforms in Armenia. But this concept of reforms, as I said, should be the result of Armenian efforts. And we believe, as the European Union, that Armenia has enough people with political wisdom, with knowledge, with expertise, with everything what you need to develop such a comprehensive and long-term and deep vision of reforms. Thank you.
Շնորհակալություն։ Անդեսման երկրորդ հարցը հենց այս խնդրին է նաև վերաբերում, բայց արդեն քննադատություններին։ Ընդդիմադիրները պնդում են, որ այնինչ կատարվում է դատաիրավական համակարգում, հատկապես խոսքը վեթինգի ինստիտուտի կամ անցումային արտադրության մեխանիզմների ներդրման մասով, նրանք ասում են ընդդիմադիրները, որ այս կերպ իշխանությունները, այսօրվա իշխանությունները փորձում են ստեղծել իրենց հպատակ կամ իրենց ենթակա դատաիրավական համակարգ։ Որքանով եք դուք ընդհանրապես ինչպես կարձագանքեիք այս գնահատականներին, արդյոք խոսքը ոչ այնքան ուրեմն ոչ թե անկախ, այլ կախյալ դատական համակարգի ստեղծման ուղղված այս ջանքերը այս անգամ ոչ թե հանրապետական իշխանություններից, այլ նոր իշխանություններից է, եւ որքանով են համակողմանի այդ ջանքերը, դուք նշեցիք, որ պետք է լինեն այդ ջանքերը համակողմանի, որ բոլորի կողմից ընկալելի։
If you recall the statements made by the European Union delegation and the embassies of our member states in Armenia, you will have all the elements of our position. Let me repeat that we consider that this reform should be done in accordance with the Armenian constitution, and I believe that's a very important element in all these discussions, and that this reform effort should be done in accordance with international standards. We are talking about, in particular, the Council of Europe standards, and I believe the Armenian government has been in very close touch with our partners in the Council of Europe. The minister went to Strasbourg. Experts, at least 2 delegations I can recall in the past 4 weeks, came to Armenia to discuss issues with the Armenian partners. So this dialogue is taking place, and I believe it's very important. When we say independent judiciary, we mean truly independent judiciary, which is protected from the unnecessary, unduly from other branches of power. The idea of separate branches of power, three branches of power, judicial, executive, legislative, is very dear to the European Union. And for us, the independence of judiciary is one of the foundations of a credible and effective judicial system. I have no reasons to believe from the many hours of discussions that we have had in the last weeks. I refer to the missions, Council of Europe, European Union missions. I was there. I could witness the discussions. I have no reason to worry that there is any intention to compromise the independence of judiciary in Armenia. And as I said, for us in our discussions with the Armenian counterparts, the notion of independence is probably the most important. And let me recall that the European Union, we have started with Armenia what we called policy dialogue in the field of judiciary, and we are discussing these issues, and we will continue to discuss these issues. I believe in autumn we will have another session of this policy dialogue, and we will continue our discussions.
Շնորհակալություն։